Hello everybody. Today we are going to be playing some Kerrigan. Kerrigan is super strong, can solo any mission on Brutal. We're going to talk about how to do it. We are going to be playing Folly of Man. This is, I would say, the most powerful prestige for general use. Other people might disagree. This is the one we're going to be doing today. First, let's check out what Kerrigan is able to do. The first thing is very important. Kerrigan gains temporary life as she deals damage. This is super important. When you jump into a big pack of enemies and you unleash your fury and you do a ton of damage, you are going to get a big shield. And speaking of unleashing fury, that's what we're doing here for this prestige. It says whenever she casts an ability, she will expend however many stacks of fury she has. What's fury? Fury is something that you build up every time you do an attack with Kerrigan. You unlock it at level 10, and then every time you do an attack, there will be this lightning that gathers around you. Your attack speed increases, and it can stack up to 5 times. So when you're using this prestige, you want most of your damage is going to happen from unleashing fury. So what you're going to do is you're going to find something to attack 5 times, and then you're going to use any spell. It doesn't need to the spell doesn't need to be useful because the most important thing is that you're unleashing fury. Sometimes I'll use the jump, but just jump to the same spot I'm standing on. So there will be like nothing that happens. All you want to do is unleash the fury. Obviously, like if your spells can be useful too, if you want to jump into a fight, out of a fight, onto a turret, whatever, like use your spells, but just make sure that you want to charge up 5 stacks, then use your spell. That's super, super important. It helps to charge up stacks if you are on creep, because when you are on creep, you gain increased attack speed. Also, you get increased life regeneration, so you're going to stay alive longer. And as far as our abilities here, because the most important thing for this prestige is building up stacks and unleashing stacks as fast as possible, the most important points that we want is for attack speed. So if you're only level 30, you only have 30 points, you put them all into attack speed. Attack speed is the most important one. Immobilization wave is totally not important with this prestige because your unleashed fury is basically like a miniature immobilization wave. Everything is going to be stunned most of the time. You don't even need your ultimate. So instead you want to reduce Vespene Ghast so that we can get more Ultralisks, and we'll talk about why Ultralisks. Attack damage is just because while for the most part this prestige is just giving you huge AoE that's killing all the units at once, so your single target damage is actually not that important. It still does matter for when you're attacking the big hybrids, or if for some reason Kerrigan is stuck attacking an objective. A little bit more damage is helpful, and you don't really need energy regen because you're only using 1 regen after every 5 auto attacks, which is more than enough time for your energy to regenerate. You're not constantly using spells like you would be with another prestige. So attack damage, Vespene Ghast cost, and attack speed. As far as our units go, the most important thing is the Omega Worms. The Omega Worms are by far the most important thing in Kerrigan's kit. They let you teleport anywhere on the map instantly. They let your allies units teleport anywhere on the map instantly. And also, most importantly for this prestige, is when you're charging up stacks of Fury, you can charge up stacks on your own structures. So you can charge up stacks on your own Nydus worms and then jump into the enemy base, stun everything, kill everything. Great. Um, our most important thing is going to be the Ultralisk because it has life steal and it has an auto revive and it has huge armor, huge health. It's super, super tanky. It never dies, which is what Kerrigan needs because she's sort of a glass cannon. She does a huge amount of damage but can be a little bit fragile sometimes. So we just put 10 ultras around her, and it doesn't even matter if the ultras don't do damage. Kerrigan will kill everything, and the ultras will help her stay alive, and then the stun from Kerrigan will also help keep the ultras alive. Air units, we don't use them because they don't go in Nydus worms. Hydralisks, they just die too easily. Lings, they die too easily. We don't need a queen, we just build extra macro hatcheries. Lurkers are useful on some defense maps like minor evacuation, dead of night, or if you're playing, like, for the other sort of quote-unquote defense map, something like the train map, no, that's not a defense map. You just build only ultras, you wipe the whole map. The temple defense, that's not a defense map. You just build only ultras, you clear the whole map. The only maps where you actually have to defend really are Minor Evacuation and Dead of Night. Those are the only ones that actually force you to hold a position for a long period of time, and lurkers are good for that. All the other ones that say they are defense, they're not actually defense, you just sweep the whole map. And then when enemy waves spawn, you just jump on the wave as they spawn with 30 ultras and you wipe it out. Okay, let's look at some games. We have some good games from today. Here's a game on Rifts to Core Hall. And so this is a very typical map. You know, there's just lots of enemies, you plow through the enemies, you have to get from point A to point B. We're going to use our very typical Folly of Man Kerrigan build here. We're going to build a bunch of ultras, and we're going to steamroll everything. So let's see how this goes. The first thing we want to get is we need a Nydus worm ASAP, and we need the health regen upgrade ASAP. Most important is the Nydus worm, and then also get our economy going. So we're going to build drone, overlord, drone, and then just drones non-stop while we get our economy and tech going.
Their activation will result in
this overlord is headed up towards the third shard spawn location, and it's going to help us pop a Nydus worm back there later. And then the second overlord we build, well, the first overlord that we build, the second overlord that we'll have, is going to get sent towards the location of the second pirate ship to help us pop an overlord over there. And then later we're going to send another overlord towards the last shard location that's going to help us pop a Nydus worm over there too. So we're going to just Nydus worm behind everything so that we don't need to fight as much, just so that we can get through here faster. So we got enough money to build another hatchery. We build another hatchery. Drone production is non-stop. We build 2 gases right now. Keep up drone production. And the next thing we're going to build is a spawning pool. And it will time out so that... Oh, let me put up the production tab. It will time up so that when the spawning pool finishes, we'll have exactly enough minerals and gas to get a lair. Transfer drones to the gases, build our pool, and
looks like the enemy is heading for us.
We want to get our lair quickly, like as soon as possible, without messing up our economy too bad. Like, economy is number one, and we need to get our lair. We're getting our lair as fast as possible so that we can get our worms as fast as possible, because the worm is the most important thing that Carry has. My macro hatchery, my second hatchery, is intentionally placed close to the ramp to slow down the first attack wave in case my ally doesn't have anything ready, which is the case here. Also, the second that the spawning pool finishes, we make a pair of lings. The lings are coming out right now. They're going to help kite these guys. If we get bad luck, if it's like Reapers or something, they're going to kill that hatchery. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's okay. Like, the hatchery will slow them down, and then the broodlings that spawn when the hatchery dies will mostly kill that wave, and your ally will deal with it. It doesn't matter. It's because even if you were to spend that 300 gas, the 300 minerals into like spine crawlers or zerglings, like, it might not actually be enough to kill a pack of reapers. So it's just to help you buy time, and 9 times out of 10 your ally is going to show up and keep your hatchery alive. And even if your ally doesn't show up, like, worst case scenario, you just run your drones away and they kill that hatchery and they damage your main, but then Kerrigan spawns and kills everything, so it's no problem. Then those zerglings get sent to the rocks to clear the rocks while Kerrigan goes out on the map, and she never stops moving. From the moment she spawns to the moment she game ends, Kerrigan never stops moving. Because when Kerrigan starts at the beginning of the game, she's already at basically full power. She doesn't get any upgrades to her damage. She doesn't get any, she doesn't level up or anything like that. When she spawns, she's already at full power. Super strong. So especially in the early game, you want to keep her moving. So what we did just there is we just charged up 5 stacks of Fury on the shard. And then we walked all the way over here, and it's too far to walk. We can't walk with 5 stacks of fury for that long. You will expire. So what we did is we walked, and then before it expired, we auto-attacked our own Nydus worm once. That's why the Nydus worm is here. We just attack it once to maintain our maximum stacks of fury. It resets the cooldown timer, and then we're able to walk all the way over to this camp and jump on it, and we damaged everything. That's a lot of damage. Nothing's dead, but we did a lot of damage. And hopefully now we're going to get a couple more attacks into charge up max stacks, and then we're going to jump out. We're going to, because this is a little bit too much for us to handle, but we're going to jump out. You'll kill all of the stalkers and zealots, and then we go attack this some more, and we come back and we do it again. So this is how you play with this Kerrigan, is you want to charge up your stacks outside, then you jump in, zap everything, and if it's too hot to handle, then you jump out. Okay, so she jumps out. We're not going to fight that again, but a couple chase me, that's good, I'll kill them. They've donated their lives.
The enemy comes for our base.
And I see there's an attack wave coming now, so optimally, I would want to time this so that like I'm getting there right when the attack wave is. I'm a little bit too early. That attack wave's a little bit far back. I don't really hit the whole thing, but it's okay. And so I charge at 5 stacks, and then I kite out a little bit. Charge at 5 stacks and kite out a little bit. But at this point, like there's only one Colossus, one Void Ray. Like I can just take that fight. It's not even the same fight. And at the same time, make sure that my my second base is getting up. I already have a hive. I'm building the whatever it is for the Ultralisk cavern. I'm building that right now. Getting that built. I'm also building Overlord speed. That's going to help me backdoor. It's going to win these Overlords faster when I need to move them. And Kerrigan's just killing everything. She's really, really strong. At this, and I'm totally ignoring this first Void Shard, by the way. Like, Kerrigan should not be wasting her time killing this Void Shard. Eventually, my ally is going to have some units. He'll kill this Void Shard. This Void Shard is not causing anybody any trouble. And Kerrigan's main ability is to do huge AoE damage to lots of enemy units, not to structures. She does not fight structures well because Unleashed Fury does not affect structures. So we're just going to ignore this. We already killed all of the enemies at the second location. We're just going to go to the third location and kill all of the enemies there. So this Overlord is going to head in and give me vision. And Kerrigan's going to hop in the worm. You make sure your worm is not on cooldown. It's not on cooldown. We still got we got a worm ready. And we're just going to pop in a worm back here, and we're going to go clear the third location. Okay, Kerrigan hops in the worm. Make sure my third base is saturated. Build a second worm so that I have more to work with. Get the Overlord up here. Pop the worm, get the OB out. Kerrigan comes in. Like there's only almost nothing attacking me yet, so I'm pretty safe. Even right now, everything's stunned. There are actually not that many units here. I'm not afraid. When I jump onto the cannons because the cannons aren't affected by my Unleashed Fury. So I make sure I jump onto the cannon and then I target stacks on the cannon to make sure the cannon is dead. These things are pretty beefy, so I'm going to back up a little bit, make sure I'm standing on creep. I'm standing on creep, I can 1v1 it, it's okay. But standing on creep helps, because on creep I get increased attack speed, increased regen. I don't need to watch, I know that I can 1v1 it. And then this base is already cleared. Like, what are we? We're 7.5 minutes into the 8 minutes into the game. My partner's still just like slapping this first Void Shard. I already cleared the entire second base, the entire third base. I have an Overlord here, getting ready to clear the pirate ship.
And that's how it's done.
My Overlords aren't even
Good
ready
work.
yet. This is still just
gotta
all
do the
Kerrigan.
same to
And
the
it's,
rest
my
of
Overlords aren't my
No
Ultralisks
rest
aren't
for
even
the
ready.
righteous.
And that's not just because
Looks
my
like we've got another set
macro
of
is
void
bad.
shards to
My
deal
macro
with.
is fine this game. It's just
The enemy
we're still early in the game.
Prepare for battle.
Kerrigan does a huge amount of damage early. So we're going to hop back here to catch that wave. We see the wave coming. So hopefully before the wave gets here, we can charge up some stacks on a pylon or any sort of building. And then we can jump in. So it's good to always, you want to always have your stacks charged up. Like at this point, our bases are fully saturated. We got our ultras upgrade, our ultralisks are upgraded. We have all the tech we need. So we're gonna start pumping out ultralisks non-stop now. We've got 4 ultralisks in the production tab. The ultralisks are gonna be helpful for clearing the final base.
Evolution
because they will tank for
completed.
Kerrigan and help do a little bit of extra damage. Kerrigan could clear that final base by herself, but it's good to have some ultras, especially if it's a Zerg final base and they have that the Leviathan or whatever, the flying thing
just
back
don't
there.
learn, do
Kerrigan
they?
cannot
Commander,
solo a Leviathan.
time to
Leviathan does way
educate
too
them.
much damage. So I need some ultras. On it's Protoss enemies, there's just a mothership back there.
Void shard
I'm not so scared of
eliminated.
a mothership,
Keep
it doesn't
it
really
up.
do very much damage.
Hardly a match for my
But
blades.
definitely having half a dozen ultralisks
Mobilization
is
wave is available, my
at
queen.
least clear it faster. These worms because just let him know. He's gonna hop in my worm and get over here.
Evolution
I lead
complete.
from the front.
And you can see Kerrigan's single target damage is pretty underwhelming. It's taking me a long time to kill it. I could have killed hundreds of stalkers in that time, you know? Like the AoE damage is
That's the
insane,
thing about the
but the single
Dominion.
target damage is
Even in a
pretty
crisis,
underwhelming.
our
So
rule of law holds
it's better to
firm.
avoid
Good work on that
fighting
void
those single
shard.
targets like that. I'll pop out these ultras over here and let the
Child's
ultras
play.
do it, but then I'm gonna send Kerrigan over here to deal with
Protecting
this
newly
wave because
summoned
Kerrigan
void
is just so
shards.
strong.
It's our job to blast them apart.
And look at it, like they were stunned for almost the entire time. Let's watch that one more time. 11:23. They're stunned for almost the entire time when I'm charging it up again because I have the attack speed upgrades. So I didn't realize this would be so slow. Anyways,
Check.
okay, so I jump in and I stun them. Like the chain lightning just went off. So all of them are just stunned. And then look how much time I have to charge up 5 more stacks before they start attacking me again.
Newly summoned
2,
void shards.
3,
It's
4.
our job.
I have 4 stacks up before they're even unstunned and able to attack. So they just get like 1 shot off on me before I'm at 5 again and then just stun them all again. So like she doesn't take damage. She's still at full health. It's insane. And I have an overlord over here already ready.
That pirate
I'm gonna
scum
take my
ransacks
ultra. I'm
the
not
city
gonna
at a time
slap
like
those.
this.
I'm not
I
gonna
know
slap
it's a
those void shards
personal
anymore. I'm gonna
request,
go into the final
but
base.
if you can,
And I'm gonna sweep this
please
final
kill
base.
them all.
And just keep the ultras with Kerrigan. They soak up damage. They help soak up damage. Keep themselves alive with their life steal and with their auto respawn thing. So just try to keep them together. This is not a great example. This base is a little bit awkward for Ultralisk just because everybody's so spread out. They work a lot better in choke points, like when you're defending the trains on Oblivion Express. You just run straight at those attack waves, the Oblivion Express attack waves. It doesn't matter how big the wave is, you run at it with 10 Ultralisks and Kerrigan and you just totally smash it. They don't kill any of your stuff. They're just too deep. Ultralisks are too deep, and Kerrigan keeps everything perma-stunned, so your army just doesn't die.
Our forces have now
Pirate ship neutralized. Nothing worse than pirates and traitors.
So this is good. I couldn't have done this with just Kerrigan. I would have to do it more slowly, jumping in and out. But right now she's just staying in. She's constantly fighting. She's constantly unleashing fury. I don't have to back out. I don't have to run away. She's still at full health because the Ultralisks are tanking. There's probably a couple Ultralisks at the top of us currently that are dying or about to die. But whatever. We got more Ultralisks come in and not this game's done. The whole map is clear. It's just left for us to sweep out. So yeah, that's Kerrigan. The only other time when you don't use Ultralisks are on minor evacuation. On minor evacuation, you can use lurkers to defend the ships, and then you put a couple Nydus worms on the outside edge of the lurkers to act as a wall. So you can make 3 or 4 Nydus worms and just keep popping the heads whenever you need them as a wall, and then put the lurkers behind the Nydus worm wall. And then also Dead of Night is a little bit of a weird one. Dead of Night, you have 2 choices. It's either you use lurkers to defend and then you go out to clear, but when you clear, you can use Kerrigan's Lings. Kerrigan's Lings are they do a huge amount of damage. The problem with Kerrigan's Lings is that they just die instantly. They have no health, no armor, like they just melt. They're total garbage. But on Dead of Night, what you can do is you can go around with Kerrigan during the nighttime. You can have your ally defend your base, and then you go out with Kerrigan during the nighttime, and you just clear all of the enemy camps. Only the enemy forces, because Kerrigan doesn't damage buildings. She just damages the enemy forces. So you go kill all of the enemy camps during the nighttime, and then in the daytime, when all the infested go away, you send out all of your lings. You just pool the lings inside your base, and then you send out all the lings during the daytime, and they sweep all of the buildings. You don't let the lings fight enemies. You just let them fight buildings. So that's the one time you get to use lings. And then lurkers can sometimes be used if you need to hold a defensive point. But generally, you don't need to hold a defensive point. Like if it's some sort of mission, like you feel like what's one that like Void Launch. Void Launch, they say it's a defensive mission. It's not a defensive mission. You with Kerrigan can clear the whole map. You can clear both of those enemy bases at the top. You can just sit on the. You can put worms on each of their spawn points and then just pop out of their spawn points. Void Launch is a map where you can build some hydras after you have like a dozen ultras. You can start popping out some hydras too, because or else you're just gonna have a bunch of money, and there's so many air units. It's good to have some hydras. Something like what's another one that's what's the temple one? Temple of the Past. This one also is not a defensive mission. Be aggressive. You can go. You can clear the whole map. Clear the whole map with Kerrigan as fast as possible. Put worms all over the map. And when enemy waves spawn, when Void Thrashers spawn, you just pop all of your Ultralisks and Kerrigan out of the worm, and you just instantly wipe it out. The enemies should never get anywhere near your base. You don't need to have any defenses in your base, like you just have worms. And then Kerrigan and the Ultras are always sitting in the worms waiting. So yeah. Hope this was useful. Hope to see some more Kerrigan enjoyers out on the map. She's super strong. Super, super strong. Brutal, like she can solo any mission on Brutal. At this point when I play Brutal, it's just like speed running. It's not like it's never a struggle. I'm just like trying to get maps under 12 minutes. Like I'm just trying to play it faster. Alright, cool. Hope this was helpful. Enjoy everybody.